So hello everyone, today's recorded lecture is on chapter 12, Outbound Marketing Communications. There will be two chapters that will cover off the promotion in the marketing mix, or the 4Ps. And that chapter will be the inbound one in chapter 13. When it comes to promotion in the marketing mix, it always refers to the communication with a specific objective of always informing, persuading, and remembering a target audience. So trying to communicate with them about your product, service, or idea so that you are providing them information, persuading them to buy that product or service that you are selling. So on this slide here and on the next one are the learning objectives. So once we've covered off the material that goes along with this chapter, you will be able to do these learning objectives listed on this slide and also on the next one. I'm not going to go through and read them off, but you can review those. And then again, these remaining four here on this slide. So the opening vignette in this chapter is on Tim Hortons Roll Up the Rim campaign, and this is very timely because it is happening right now. So Tim Hortons has maintained the largest market share in the increasingly competitive and ever-changing coffee market in Canada. Tim Hortons was started by its namesake back in 1964, and in 1967, he partnered with Ron Joyce to assist him in more closely managing the 3 donut shop locations that Tim owned at that time. Product introductions were the Timbit in 1976, the Ice Cap in 99, Dark Roast Coffee in 2014, and in 1995 it merged with Wendy's International to increase its locations. In 2000, Tim's opened its 2000th store, and in 2006 it became a separate company, again publicly traded on the stock exchange. And in 2014 it sold to Burger King for $11.4 billion, and the fight for that market share just constantly continues. Today, Tim Hortons locations are in 14 countries with 4,646 stores. Tim Hortons went digital back in 2014 with the Timmy Me app, allowing customers to pay with their smartphones. Tim Hortons' target market is predominantly baby boomers, and it has identified that there is not as much loyalty with the under 40 market. Consequently, many of this recent promotions have targeted millennials and also the Generation Z. In 1986, Tim Hortons was looking for a way to increase sales in their dire, dark days of like that Canadian winter. So the company decided to create a sales promotion in the form of a contest, and that's what they named the Roll Up the Rim. So their integrated marketing strategy for the popular promotion included television advertising, print advertising, billboards, posters, press releases announcing that contest and the winners, and eventually social media posts on Facebook and Instagram in the more recent years. For years, the contest was successful, but as attitudes around waste changed, decisions were made to make the contest to reduce the waste created by the takeaway cups used to roll up the rim. So in 2020, to make Roll Up the Rim more sustainable, Tim Hortons created a new version of the contest that used an app, allowing people to use reusable cups and had a limited supply of the actual rims. So in terms of their advertising, there was a significant investment was made in paid media advertisements to explain the new and improved system, including television ads in prime time as well as TSN during Tim Hortons Briar Curling Championship. There was radio ads, print ads in newspapers, Google and Facebook ads, outdoor billboards and posters, electronic boards and posters at actual Tim Hortons locations. In terms of their sales promotions, the Roll Up the Rim contest allowed customers to roll up the rim on a disposable cup or get an additional rolls by bringing a reusable cup and using the app that was associated with the Tim Hortons loyalty card. In terms of their public relations, numerous press releases were dispatched to provide information about the new contest and explain how the new rules and the reasons for the change. Using its owned media, Tim Hortons marketing team created a video to explain the new contest and posted it on its websites and on social media platforms such as Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. It wasn't long before the PR team had to go into crisis management mode as social media was inundated with negative opinions about the new contest. There was a feeling that it was not going green if the contest still used paper cups, and that the new online contest was too complicated for customers to actually participate in. So the contest was deemed a bit of a marketing disaster. Sales were down, the customers were feeling unhappy, like their brand had completely lost touch. Then things got much more complicated with the 2020 lockdown during COVID pandemic and subsequent inability to complete the contest as it was designed because they couldn't use reusable cups just because of the contamination. The roll-up rim fiasco was overshadowed by much more important news out there in the world. This story still has a happy ending and as Tim Hortons marketing team they turned on a dime and started a completely new program supporting frontline workers by dropping off coffee and donuts and using social media platforms and advertisings to reassure customers that the brand had not completely lost its way. Tim Hortons has always been community focused, and it found renewed success by returning to the origin of the brand that it had upon opening up its Tim Hortons. They started to also reach out to the community by Tim Hortons in Afghanistan to support the troops, outfitting thousands of hockey, baseball, and soccer teams with Timbits uniforms, and they attended local events in communities all over the country. It would be interesting to see if the ship can turn around and find its way back to the iconic Canadian brand. One large double, please. Today's customers are bombarded with so many marketing messages. With the use of tags, bookmarks, opt-ins, and selective feeds, customers can determine whether they receive marketing communication messages, and if so, when, where, and on which device. Putting together the marketing mix, a marketer must consider two issues. First, the balance of all the elements must be determined, and second, because the various promotional elements are often the responsibility of different departments, they have to coordinate a consistent promotional effort. Chapter 12 focuses on the elements of the promotional mix: advertising, sales promotion, direct marketing, and personal selling. Marketers need to use these to reach out to customers or send outbound communication. It also includes trends currently impacting marketing communications and details the planning and evaluation of those marketing communication programs as well. The promotional programs are directed to the most important person, the customer, to an intermediary who is the retailer, wholesaler, or industrial distributor, and or to both. Again, the importance of always thinking through who is that customer, that target audience, and how are you going to reach them to communicate, persuade, inform about your products, your service, or not your idea that you are selling or promoting. On this slide, figure 12.1, it shows the customer advocacy funnel. It's a communications approach that takes customers from the initial product awareness through to the bottom of the funnel to brand advocacy. It involves developing, executing, and evaluating each element of the promotional program so that it encourages customers to become loyal supporters that spread positive messages. At the top of the funnel is awareness. This is a company trying to raise brand awareness may use a website, search engine, traditional, and online advertising to maximize customer exposure to the product. Moving down the funnel where it starts to get narrower to interest, a company may use online video to increase interest in a product, this time using experts to demo the product and also add credibility. Moving then down further in the funnel to engagement, social media can be used to the mix to encourage engagement by the customer. Continuing down to trial, contests, samples, and limited trials can be communicated through direct mail, product microsites, and social media networks. Moving down further to purchase, follow-up on product trial can be done through email to reinforce a positive product experience, which can lead to product purchase. Loyalty, customer loyalty, can be encouraged through programs that reward continual purchase, such as loyalty programs like Shoppers Optimum. Social media can help encourage interaction with a brand as well. Moving down to the advocacy, this is ongoing communications, often one-to-one through email, newsletters, social networks, branded communities, and blogs that can solidify the connection with loyal customers, providing them with information and share experiences so that they share it with other potential customers. The key of this funnel is, as you can see, as it go down from awareness down to advocacy, it gets narrow and narrow, less customers in the funnel. So somewhere along this funnel, customers are leaking out of it, and you really ultimately want to keep them in it so that they become advocates for your brand, like an influencer, and help influence or advocate for your brand or your product or service so that they can have an influence over other potential customers. There are two basic approaches in marketing communications: outbound marketing and inbound marketing, which are often used in combination to make integrated marketing programs. Outbound marketing is a marketing approach that broadcasts messages to a wide audience using advertising, direct mail, email, telemarketing, and also personal selling approaches. Inbound marketing is an approach where customers find the product and its messaging by using online techniques that marketers facilitate, such as search engine optimization, pay-per-click ads, social media, and any marketing sites. Integrated marketing communications coordinates all promotional activities to provide a consistent message to a target audience, and they have to be able to work together, the outbound and the inbound. On this slide here, it shows figure 12.2, and this is where they explain the balance between customer and trade promotion, as well as how push and pull strategies are used. A push strategy is when marketers focus communication on the distribution channel to gain support from the retailers, distributor, and wholesalers. Also, you can further go down and see the uses for it: direct response, personal selling, trade promotions. And then the results that you see is listings, sales, merchandise displays, feature pricing, and also inclusion in flyers. Then moving over to the right-hand side here to the pull strategy. This is when marketers focus communication efforts on the ultimate customer to build awareness, trial, and demand for the product. And the uses there is advertising, public relations, customer promotions, direct response, event marketing, sponsorship, and personal selling. And again, it results in awareness, interest, engagement, trial, purchase, loyalty, and advocacy, which is going back to that customer funnel. And both these have to be able to work together to create that balance. So the following 6 steps are involved in the marketing communications process. Step 1 is to specify the integrated marketing communication objectives. So objectives identify what the program should accomplish, such as increase awareness, generate trial, or to encourage repeat purchases. Just some words that are some terms that I want to throw out that would go along with step number 1 is reach. And when you hear that word reach, what it means is the number of people who are exposed to a communication vehicle or message. It is presented as a percentage of the total number of people in that target audience. And frequency is another term used. And this is the number of times that that target audience is exposed to that communication vehicle or that message. Moving down to step number 2, identify the target audience. This is information on the demographics, psychographics, geographics, and behavioristics should be provided. So this is where you stay to take a look at customer touch points. So any situation in which a customer comes into contact with a brand or a company, figuring out those customer touch points. Moving down to step number 3, set the promotional budget. A budget needs to be set. This is usually done by looking at the previous year's spending and adjusting it based on current year programs. You can, some of the terms that you might hear here is percentage of sales. So that is the amount of money spent on promotion is a percentage of the past or the anticipated sales that we'll have. Competitive parity, that matches the competitors' obsolete levels of spending or a promotion or a portion of their spend based on what their market share is. The all-you-can-afford budget allows money to be spent on promotion only after all budget items such as manufacturing costs are covered. Objective and task. The company determines the promotional objectives, outlines the tasks to accomplish these objectives, and determine the promotion cost of performing those tasks. Now moving over to step 4, designing the promotional program. The promotional mix is now set using creative, experience, and an analytical approach. So the promotional mix is the selection of different promotional tools to communicate with your target market. Marketers carefully consider their product's life cycle and the competitive nature of the market so that their programs are engaging and meaningful to that target market, to that customer. Step 5, schedule and run the integrated marketing communications elements. Each element and the promotional program needs to be sequenced and scheduled to meet the overall program objectives. Moving over to step 6, evaluating the program. Some promotional programs are pre-tested to allow for messaging changes before they fully launch them. All programs need to be evaluated while they're running and fully evaluated once they are completed against those promotional objectives. Messaging is often evaluated for their likability, their message comprehension, and any attitude changes that a customer would have towards a brand. On this slide here, figure 12.4 shows the product life cycle that we would have discussed in a previous chapter, but it's the things that we need to consider at each stage that would impact the marketing communications process. So you can see it's going to break down introduction, growth, maturity, and decline. It's going to highlight underneath each one of those stages what the promotional objective is and some of the promotional activity that will go along with it. So introduction stage, marketing communications, they're all about building awareness, providing information, and encouraging trials. In the growth stage, the promotional focus changes and starts to persuade and differentiate the brand from the competition. The maturity stage, promotional efforts are designed as a reminder of the brand and to encourage repeat purchases through special offers. Decline stage often has little to no promotion at all. So now for the upcoming slides, we are going to discuss the marketing communication tools, which are advertising, public relations, sales promotions, direct response, event marketing, sponsorship, product placement, and branded entertainment, and also personal selling. There is going to be a table that lists the advertising or the different promotional tool along with the strengths and weaknesses for each. On this slide here, we're going to discuss advertising, which is a paid form of media used to communicate to customers about an organization, a good, a service, or an idea. The paid aspect of this definition is important because advertising space is normally pre-purchased, with the exception of some public service announcements, which may be used as donated media. Non-personal component of advertising is also important since advertising involves mass media such as TV, radio, magazines, and the internet, which are not personal and do not have immediate feedback loop. Also on this slide here, it lists some of the strengths and weaknesses of advertising. I'm not going to go through and read each one of these off, so please take the time to look at the strengths and weaknesses of advertising. On this slide here, it shows public relations. I am briefly going to discuss it, but it is going to be covered more in depth in chapter 13. So what public relations specialists do is they try to create and maintain a positive public image for the individuals, groups, brands, organizations that they represent. So all about focusing on managing how your brand is portrayed by the media. Again, here are the strengths and the weaknesses, and I would like you to review those on your own time. Sales promotion is a communications tool that provides short-term incentives to generate interest in a product or cause and also encourages purchase or support. It includes consumer promotions such as coupons, premiums, contests, sweepstakes, samples, loyalty programs, point of purchase materials, bonus packs, and also rebates. It also includes trade promotions, which are short-term promotional tools that generate support with wholesalers, distributors, and retailers. And common approaches include trade shows, off-invoice allowances, merchandising allowances, and any cooperative advertising out there. And again, on this slide here, you can see the strengths and also the weaknesses that are associated with sales promotion. So if you could just take the time to review some of those. On this slide here, you can see the tool that's going to be discussed more in chapter 13 is event marketing and also sponsorship. So this is sponsorship is really heavily used in the sporting world. So you would see sponsorship like Budweiser and how they sponsor, the NFL or the Super Bowl. And it's always trying to find out that they want to be in front of or sponsor events that are consumed by a customer that also consumes their brand but also is watching this football. Obviously there is a fit between beer and football because primarily the target audience of the NFL is men who drink beer. So that's why the Budweiser is a sponsor in the NFL. And then event marketing is when you go to any event and you could see different brands are set up there to expose you to their products while you are, taking in that event. And again, we are going to get into this more in depth in chapter 13, but please take the time to review the strengths and weaknesses listed here on this table. So on this slide here, you can see the tool is product placement and also branded entertainment. So product placement refers to the inclusion of a product in a movie or a TV program. Branded entertainment is when an entire movie or episode revolves around a specific brand. We will get into a few examples of this, later on. But again, here are the strengths and also the weaknesses that go along with both these. So please take the time to review them. Personal selling is a two-way flow of communication between a buyer and a seller, designed to influence a purchase decision, and it usually involves a face-to-face communication. Again, here are the strengths and the weaknesses associated with this marketing tool. So please take the time to review those. And then on this slide here, you see two different tools, online and also social media. And these two tools will be covered more in depth in chapter 13, but online would just be, again, we're going to get into it in chapter 13, but it would be like having websites. The strengths and weaknesses are listed there, so please take the time. And then also social media marketing, which we know like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and the strengths and weaknesses that are associated with that as well. So please, again, take the time to review that. So this is just a bit of a quick recap that I would have mentioned earlier. So advertising obviously is a paid form of media. It's used for that non-personal communication to push information about your good, service, or idea to your potential customer. It is paid, so it is purchased, with the exception of public service announcements, which like a public service announcement examples that I can think of is when all the celebrities came together after The Cove, that documentary was, launched, and they were trying to save the dolphins from being slaughtered in Japan. They all came together and did a public service announcement. It had people like Jennifer Aniston in it, lots of famous celebrities. So that was done using donated media. And advertising tends to be non-personal, that involves mass media and doesn't have like an immediate feedback loop. So it doesn't have any direct marketing or any personal selling. Here's just a quote that was important to highlight when it comes to advertising. Marketers have a number of media options from which they can choose. Selection is based on always going back to the campaign objectives as well as the product, also the target market, and any budget constraints. So these things need to be considered when you're looking at advertising. Campaign objectives, the product, who is the customer, the target market, and any budget constraints that you have. So advertisements, because it is one-way communication, that it's just pushing information out to the customers about the product, service, or brand, It tends to be informative, providing information and trying to persuade you to purchase that product, service, or idea, good, whatever. They always try to appeal to it through some basic ways, like a fear appeals, sex appeals, and humorous appeals. I love watching the Super Bowl. Well, first off, I am a football fan, but the Super Bowl, it's very expensive for a 30-second time slot. And they always, because they're paying millions for that time slot, then they're also paying millions for the production of that. And if you go and you take a look at review some of the top Super Bowl ads, you would find that they would tap into these three appeals that are listed on this slide: fear, sex, and also some humorous element to it. So in the upcoming slides, we're going to discuss some of the different advertising options out there and the advantages and disadvantages of each one of the advertising media choices that are out there. So the first one listed here is television. It is a valuable medium because it communicates with sight, sound, and motion and gets the attention from large target audiences. Digital technology now allows television viewing to be flexible, whether this means watching it on the go, on a smartphone or tablet, time shifting to watch it in a different time zone, or using a digital recording device to watch the program at more convenient times. When TV ads are well designed and appropriately placed on the media, this tool can deliver very impactful and massive messages. Again, please take the time to review the advantages and also the disadvantage of this medium. Canadians over the age of 18 listen to the radio for 14.6 hours per week on average, supplemented by an additional 8 hours of audio streaming content. Almost 1/4 stream online. So again, here are the advantages and also the disadvantages that go along with radio. Magazines provide advertisers with high quality media environment and provide an excellent opportunity for advertisers to match magazines to their target market profile. Magazines have adapted well to online environment by providing added online content such as searchable databases, blogs, contests, and polls, as well as mobile versions that can be accessed on tablets and other mobile devices. Again, also on this slide, the advantages and disadvantages that go along with magazines. The Canadian newspaper industry has undergone significant change over the last few years with a decline in circulation rates and a considered move to digital formats. Newspapers are challenged with lower advertising revenues in this digital age where the news is accessible through multiple avenues. There are 3 types of newspapers: daily paid circulation ones, free daily newspapers, and also free community newspapers. Again, here are the advantages and disadvantages. And then yellow pages, being able to look up contact information in yellow pages on a specific business. Here are the advantages and also the disadvantages that go along with yellow pages. Online advertising offers a visual message. Online advertising options such as paid search, display ads, classified ads, and video are out there. Unique features of being interactive is usually called rich media. You can have drop-down menus, built-in games, or search engines to engage viewers. Always offers an opportunity to reach younger customers who have developed a preference for online communication. Video ads also have a benefit of going viral when people share the ads with their friends. And then you can also have mobile marketing, which now includes the broad set of interactive messaging options that enable organizations to communicate, engage with customers through any mobile device. Outdoor or out-of-home advertising reaches customers outside the home in outdoor locations such as billboards, posters, bus shelter ads, transit ads, washroom ads, and a variety of non-conventional methods such as aerial advertising. I just think of when I was in Daytona, there was airplanes that went up and down the beach all day long, pulling a banner behind it promoting some restaurant or some event that's coming. 70% of time is typically spent outdoors, so that's what they're trying to, tap into, use and use outdoor advertising. Again, here are the advantages and disadvantages of internet and also outdoor mediums, so please take the time to review those. And then you have direct mail. So that would be you getting stuff in either your mailbox or in your email where it is sent directly to you. It's a little bit more customized in its nature. And here on this slide, you can see the advantages and also the disadvantages that go with direct mail. On this slide here, you see all those media choices that we were just discussed broken down into a pie chart to showing the percentage of which media is chosen. Again, the most important thing is to choose the best media outlet that allows you to get in front to communicate about your brand to the customer. So if you're looking to go after a baby boomer that golfs, well, the internet is probably not the best place for them because they don't have as much social media, where they would buy Golf Digest magazine, and obviously that is catered towards a really specific customer. So that media channel would probably be the most important channel to choose. Again, always thinking it through the customer on how to best persuade or inform them on your product or service. Mobile ads are more effective in increasing brand awareness and also purchase consideration. It is a rapidly growing area, and it represents more than 1/3 of overall internet spending in Canada. When you're going about scheduling when you're going to advertise, there's 3 factors that must be considered: buyer turnover, purchase frequency, and forgetting rate. So buyer turnover is how often new buyers enter the market to buy that product. 2, purchase frequency is the more frequently the purchase is purchased, the less repetition is required. And then the 3rd thing is forgetting rate. So that is the speed at which buyers forget the brand if advertising is not seen. And then when you go about scheduling, it's either continuous, flighting, or pulse. So continuous is when seasonal factors are unimportant. Advertising is run at a continuous or steady schedule always throughout the year. And then the fighting schedule, this is periods of advertising are scheduled between periods of no advertising to reflect any seasonal demand. And then pulse scheduling is a flighting schedule is combined with a continuous schedule because of the increasing in demand, heavy periods of promotion, or introducing a new product. So on this slide here is a picture of E.T., and this was one of the very first incidences where product placement was seen in the movies. And as you can see, E.T. is holding Reese's Pieces. So that's where they have included a product into a movie or TV program. Then you can have branded entertainment. So that's the creation of an entire movie or TV episode around a certain brand, and that happens a lot on like HGTV, like Home Depot. Another really good example of product placement is in the Transformers movie franchise, where you've seen General Motors really insert or include all their car lineup into the movie. So like I discussed a little bit earlier about sales promotion, so this is a communications tool that provides some short-term incentives to generate interest in a product or a cause, or encourages purchase or support. So I have, for example, have gotten some customer promotions from, Gap or Old Navy in my email. And when I've received that consumer sales promotion, it would have like a coupon in it that would say, enter this coupon code at your checkout online and you'll receive 30%, off the price of those pair of jeans or whatever attire or clothing that I'm wearing. Also, then you can have trade, so that's going after your wholesalers, distributors, and other people that are in your supply chain. So those sales promotions, here are the different tools that can be found under sales promotions to encourage some customer purchase, and it's usually short term. So you can have coupons, premiums, contests, and also sweepstakes. And here is the explanation of each one of these here. So please take the time to review the tool and take a look at the explanation of it. Also on this slide is a list of some more customer promotions or sales promotions out there, samples, loyalty programs, rebates, bonus packs or any special packs, and any point of purchase material. So again, it gives you the explanation for each of those. So if you could just take a look at those and just maybe sit back and reflect on a time where you would have been exposed or have seen this different promotional tool used in real life. So on this slide, McDonald's Monopoly Game is one of Canada's most successful consumer promotions over 30 years. The promotion is a result of a partnership between McDonald's and Hasbro, building on the popularity of the Monopoly board game. Customers collect Monopoly properties as they purchase McDonald's products. They use the properties to win prizes. Despite the promotion tarnished with fraud exposed in the Netflix documentary and in the 2020 promotion postponed due to the coronavirus, the promotion is still going strong. And it has a stronger online component and leverages social media and YouTube to highlight real-time winners of prizes to their customers. Mobile messaging comes in the form of short codes, short messaging services, multimedia messaging services, email messaging, in-person voice calls, and voice messaging. Common short codes are dictated short messaging codes of typically 5 to 6 digits that are used to trigger subscriptions, donations, alerts or downloads, or to access promotional content. Short messaging systems or services, which is SMS, is standard text messaging that uses protocols of 160 characters per message. Multimedia messaging services, or MMS, is standard text messaging services that include audio, video, or images. And then you can have mobile email. So this is email sent and or received using a mobile device. The Matrix 2D barcode is a two-dimensional response code that, when scanned by a mobile barcode reader or app, provides additional information, or it launches a website, promotes downloads, or prompts a download, it sends text messages, or deploys some message to the customer. QR codes tend to be quite popular here. Then under proximity marketing, this is the local distribution of marketing content to mobile devices that have opted in on a specific geolocation. Bluetooth is the low power radio waves that are transmitted through beacons and wirelessly transfer text, images, and audio or video data through a local hotspot to Bluetooth enabled and activated devices. Near field communications is the two-way radio communication between smartphones and smartphone type devices to transfer images, documents, or monetary transactions when the two devices touch or are within a few inches of one another. Geofencing uses Global Positioning System or GPS to trigger an event to happen when a device enters a certain geographic area. Wi-Fi hotspots, these are areas set up with free internet access in which once customers log in and use their free Wi-Fi, they can be sent local specific content. I think of this a lot in airports. Mobile check-in services, when customers check into locations using apps to post their whereabouts and to receive offers from local merchants on that mobile device. Mobile discovery, the use of mobile apps to find local businesses, services, and also attractions. I think of like Google, and you type in, restaurants in the area, and then it comes up with a whole list using where you're located to promote any local business or service that you might be looking for. Figure 1210 highlights all the different promotional tools that are trade promotions that are out there. And these are short-term promotional tools used to generate support with wholesalers, distributors, and retailers in the marketing channel. So in this figure on this slide, you can see each of those promotional tools listed and also an explanation. Trade shows, off-invoice allowances, merchandising allowances, and co-op advertising. Again, please take the time to review the explanation and think about a real-life example that you can apply to that different tool. Personal selling involves a two-way flow of communication between a buyer and a seller, typically face-to-face or facilitated through communication devices, and it's done to influence an individual or a customer on some purchase decision. In this picture here, you can see the example is in a jewelry store where there is a two-way flow of communication from the sales representative and the potential customer looking at a piece of jewelry. On this slide here and continued into the next one is the 6 stages for going through the personal selling process. So in this figure 1211, it'll break down each of the stages, the objective aligned to that stage, and also just some other comments, explanation to go along with that stage. So the first stage, prospecting. The objective here is to search for and qualify any potential prospects, any potential customers. You start off the selling process. Prospects are generated through advertising, maybe any referrals or any cold canvassing, cold calling. Stage 2, pre-approach. This is where you're gathering information and decide on how to approach that prospect. So information and sources, this is where you're doing some personal observation. The third stage, approach. This is where you gain that customer's attention, stimulate the interest, and take transition to begin to present them with information on it. First impression here is critical. You want to gain the attention and interest through references, maybe any common acquaintance, a referral, or even through a product demonstration. Moving to stage 4, where you are going to do the presentation. This is where you begin to convert a prospect or a potential customer into a customer by creating a desire for that product or service. Stage 5 is the close, obtaining purchase commitment from that prospect, that potential customer, and secure them to be a customer. And then stage 6 is the follow-up. So this is to ensure that the customer is satisfied with that product or service that they have purchased from you. The marketing landscape has really changed. Customers are now more connected than ever. The research tells us that customers in Canada are among the most connected in the world. They are able to multitask. And nearly 3 in 4 Canadians spend 3 to 4 hours per day online. And also, all the introductions of the different social networks that are out there provides so much more opportunities to marketers and advertisers. In terms of media usage, adults in Canada spend 10 hours and 24 minutes per day using some form of media. The most popular social networking sites in Canada are Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. Marketers tailor messages and are shifting advertising dollars online to respond to the change in media habits. Like I mentioned on the previous slide, marketers are shifting their advertising dollars online to respond to those media changes, the habits that are changing in our customer. The internet now is the largest recipient of advertising dollars in Canada, ahead of TV and newspapers. The latest data on advertising expenditures show that the overall advertising spent in Canada in 2019 reached approximately $12 billion. And again, in this figure 12.4 just shows the different trends in advertising expenditures in Canada from 2018 into forecasting into 2023. You can take a look at the more traditional channels and then also the digital. Here are some also trends that have been identified with the evolving media in Canada or in the world. So content is now being produced strictly for streaming. Traditional media are creating their own online assets to remain competitive and also relevant. So that'd be like, magazines, used to get them in the hard copy form at the grocery store. Now they are moving those assets online, through an app where that you can buy Cosmopolitan and watch it or view it on your iPad. New organizations use YouTube channels and apps to deliver new content. Also, radio stations are streaming online. They're creating podcasts and writing articles for websites. Magazine create content specifically for online reading, like I just mentioned. Out of home advertising is being replaced by digital boards out there. And digital advertising has seen a real shift to mobile, because we think of our smartphones. It is one of the most intimate devices that we have, and we carry it everywhere we go. And the amount of information and opportunity that this could provide a marketer is huge. The marketing communications industry consists of 5 main areas that work together to form an industry that is ethical, trustworthy, cohesive, and also measurable. These areas include 1, the media; 2, marketing communications agencies; 3, media research companies; 4, associations; and 5, regulatory bodies. These areas have all been impacted by the digital era. The main forms of media are internet, including mobile, TV, newspaper, magazine, radio, and out of home. Over the years, the media has evolved from a rudimentary word-of-mouth dependent era to today's internet era, where social media spreads messages, and allows for interactivity. New media terms have surfaced in the internet era: paid media, owned media, and earned media. Paid media is the media time that is purchased, such as TV advertising. Owned media is the media channels a company controls, such as a website, microsite, or their own social media page. Earned media is the free publicity secured through unpaid media or social media. Successful campaigns use paid and owned media such as springboards into securing earned media. The second body there, the marketing communications agencies. These organizations provide marketers with expertise on how to communicate messages. They can be broad and offer a variety of services, or they can be specialty agencies providing expertise in media, creative, public relations, event marketing, product placement, and branded integration, direct marketing, and or sales promotion. Media research companies. So it's data on audience membership, readership, customer trends, and the quality of communications messages that is provided by some independent research companies and studies created by vendors from this industry. Some of these companies are listed here on this table along with the link to their website. A number of active associations provide research data and host informative events and educational workshops. These can be listed here through the Canadian Marketing Association, etc. Regulatory bodies. There are 6 main regulatory groups that regulate marketing communications. Ad Standards, the Competition Bureau, CRTC, CMA, CWTA, and MMA. So that concludes chapter 12 on outbound marketing communications. So again, the most important thing to remember here is you choose the appropriate medium or channel to promote, persuade, inform your target audience. So remember, always walking through in the mindset of the customer, who is that customer and how can we reach them to promote, inform, persuade on our products or services. So something to promote, persuade to a baby boomer would be much different to you guys, the millennials. The millennials are super users of digital marketing, where the baby boomers would consume, newspapers or television. So again, always walking through how are we getting in front of that customer. We are going to continue on with the promotion P in the marketing mix in the next chapter. If you have any questions or concerns, do not hesitate to reach out. Take care.